Hey, it's Oska from the Frontrunner Colombo.
And Tom from the Frontrunner Colombo.
And you are listening to Run Spesh, our weekly running specialty podcast where normally three above average runners have below average chat. We talk about running, we talk about shoes, and anything else crazy that comes into our mind. It's Christmas week, Tommy. How fun.
Exciting time to be buying shoes,
Exactly.
which is what we're talking about today.
Yeah. So we thought executive producer Mac Dwyer suggested that we do a wrap-up of shoes for 2024. How are we going to do it, mate? How are we going to kick this one off?
Well, I think we started with the customers' choices of the year.
Choices. So the customer choices, we've done this off sales reports on our sales software for the store. And so this has nothing really to do with what we think. It's just people's feet talking, people's wallets talking, and then people running. And this is interesting because I think between you and me, we were surprised.
Yeah, there was a few surprising ones there. Although some of my picks are pretty similar, but no, there are a few surprising ones for sure.
Do you think we could make Tinder for shoes? Shoes?
Tinder for shoes.
Tinder for
I mean,
shoes.
if there's anything we could do, probably yes.
So you could be like, I like that one. I don't like that one. I don't like that one.
Literally.
Like, is that kind of what we offer anyway?
Pretty much what we're doing now.
With a 30-day guarantee. Like,
Yeah.
you can I think I want to try this. I want to try before I buy.
I want to try it out.
I mean, if we had limitless amounts of resource, then we probably could do try before you buy. That we can't. I think we let people do a lot more trying than most stores.
Yeah,
In
I would
terms of
say
like
so.
running outside.
Well, it's hard, you know. Can't. I mean, we get them to run outside, which I think is quite unique for some stores. Most of them do it on treadmill, but yeah, getting them to run outside, it's always a little bit hard to know how it's going to hold up after 100K, blah, blah, blah. So I think we do a good job of that.
Absolutely.
With the 30 days.
Not to blow our own trumpets.
Yeah.
We are shoe people. We love shoes. Obviously, we love talking absolute rubbish, but we also like talking about shoes. So today, this one, we're gonna dive deep into the shoe choices we have, and then Tom and I don't know what each other's picks are
Pixar, yeah.
for the
It's
2024
quite
year.
interesting.
And so we don't know. We haven't seen it beforehand. We're going to see how much we line up on. We're going to argue our cases about why we think it was the best one, and give you guys some stats and feelings on why we think people like the shoes that they selected. So, and also kind of describe the categories and how we see shoes fit into those categories because, man, it is messy.
It's got a lot trickier over the years.
Yeah,
a lot trickier.
It's no longer just a 2000 Kayano and a Cumulus, man. It's
way different.
It's hard. So let's kick this off. How do we want to do this, mate? Do you want me to say them and then you?
Yeah, I can just run. Right, we'll just go category by category.
So let's start with women's. Women's neutral trainer of the year. Neutral being described in limited amounts of stability features, tends to be one density of foam, soft foam, cushioned is its primary objective.
Yeah.
This is for someone with a foot function that travels pretty well, doesn't deviate too far from center, and doesn't have a history of pronation-related injuries or annoyances. So I was surprised by this.
I was until I looked a little bit deeper.
Okay. Okay. What are you going to throw at me?
But no, it's the Clifton, isn't it?
Yeah.
The Clifton 9. Which we only have the men's one on the shelf here, but this is the shoe. And the reason I say I was surprised until I looked a little bit deeper was because of our run clubs. And Cloaker especially have picked up a huge gathering in run clubs. So that could have influenced it. Well, I'm not taking anything away from the shoe. No. That is a good shoe. But yeah, it was interesting. It was kind of a close one, I think, but I mean, it's simple and it works. Like, I think because it is a slightly firmer foam than some of the other shoes in the category.
Well, we're saying we don't like mushy foams.
Yeah. Well, for neutral, like, it's a tricky one. It is a tricky one, but it accommodates to a lot more people in that category.
Yes.
You know, like if it's super, super soft, it doesn't quite work with as many people's feet.
Gotcha. Yeah, so if we're saying that there's 100% of neutral people,
Yeah.
what Tommy's trying to explain, talking around it, is sometimes you get what we'd call like a stable neutral.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so what the Hoka does really well is because it's a really large net base.
Foot base.
So yeah, for those that are watching on YouTube, you'll be able to see. So what we mean by that is how much material there is, particularly under the midfoot and under the arch. And gives you a really stable base, lots of shoe to land on. The second, I guess, feature that Hoka have is the sidewalls that come up onto the upper of the shoe from the midsole, which creates some inherent stability, almost a little bit like the guide rails from Brooks. You sit down inside of those and it keeps, I guess, sort of that calcaneus and some of the subtalar from deviating too far or too fast from center. So you're right, kind of lower pitch, things are trending that way, which is interesting. And I won't name brands, but we're seeing most come down to 8 mil for next year. 6 and 8, so everything's goes in full circle. This is my 15th year selling shoes, heading into my 16th. I've seen this shit 3 times now. As you speak about your 6th or 7th year, Tommy, we see these things recycle. It's got a nice little roll off the front. I find it really interesting that we have all of these amazing midsole materials and people still like just a slightly overblown EVA.
Hoka put it in their cushioning category as balanced.
Okay, no, I like that.
And they've got responsive and plush either side, so it does kind of fit in between the two.
Yeah.
It's not super soft, but it's not really bouncy either. It's just nice.
I'd call it reliable.
Yeah.
It's a bit like the postman.
Yeah, it's going to get you from A to B.
Yeah. Your letters are going to keep on coming, unless it's Sunday. And that's an NBA quote, so you can look that one up. The postman's not coming. And then, should we just go women's, men's? So, and then the men's, so Hoka take this out.
Yeah.
So Clifton across the board. And I think another thing that Hoka have, obviously, is they have the 2 widths, right? They have the B and D for women and the D and 2E for men, which, I think kind of sets them apart too.
Yeah. I think offering the variety, especially for the men in that category, is super important.
Clifton's even going to come 4E for 2025. So Hoka cleaning up.
Yeah.
Taking
out the neutral category.
Have you got some stats there you want to?
Yeah, so it's 5 mil drop, which is kind of what we were talking about before. And then 260 grams from men's size 9. Okay. Which is not crazy heavy. Kind of, I would say it's relatively
Isn't
normal.
It crazy that we call that not crazy heavy for that amount of foam? Because when that came out,
everyone looked at it like...
It was like light for how much material. Like if you had to put... If you had to put 30, was it 39, 34?
Yeah, 39, 34.
Then it would have been so goddamn heavy.
Yeah.
I just find that kind of interesting.
Yeah, some more stats. It's got a gusseted tongue, which I personally quite like them. Feels a little bit more secure.
More lockdown.
And like you said, it's the molded, compression molded EVA. So still using that old, I guess, EVA foam. And then a more early stage meta rocker. And I guess what they're trying to mean by that is it's going to roll you off the front a little bit quicker.
Yep.
So it's back further in the shoe.
Sooner. Yep.
And then I would say it's the Clifton's kind of kept the same outsole tread pattern.
We only had one badge,
Yeah. So nothing really changed there. So keeping it simple, I think it changes next year slightly.
It does, and interestingly, so we're going to get a little bit of a midsole update, but not too far from what it is, and it's going to go to 8 mil pitch.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I might go to like 42, 34 or something.
That is I did notice that's a theme from Hoka for next year. They've kind of always religiously been 4 to 5 mil.
Yep.
But now they're throwing in the 8 mil, 7 mil kind of drops. So it's just, I think it's good because I feel like Hoka's a well-known enough brand now for them to kind of experiment out.
And I think that for people listening is, remember, that's the static measurement.
Yeah.
And it really depends on, A, where they're taking that measurement from, where they're assuming that apex point is, and 2, the compliance of the foam. So if they make a softer Clifton with an 8 mil pitch than a 5 mil pitch with a firmer foam, then dynamic pitch ends up being very similar. So also what you'll notice is the bevel, which is the way the back of the shoe is scooped out. If they change that a little bit, so you can kind of see the back of the shoe that's kind of scooped out. If they change that, and depending on if you kind of heel strike, kind of heavy down on there or a little laterally, if they change the shape and position of that and the dramaticness of it, that'll also affect the feeling of the pitch.
Yeah.
Because you can put that on and rock backwards and you feel like it's zero.
Yeah.
And then you go running dynamically and you're like, okay, I can see because I'm landing more midfoot, getting pushed forward onto the forefoot because of the early stage rock. So, I mean, it wasn't a one horse race in this category like the next one, but don't discount the Clifton.
Showing its colours.
I should
come out on top.
I should bring it out more often. Sometimes I feel like I don't. Well, it's hard, right? Like because you've got other brands.
I think I'll bring it. I think I'll run it a lot more when it's 8mm pitch.
Yeah,
just
same.
With the Achilles.
Yeah,
like changing the pitch.
Your personal preference.
Yeah, can sometimes stir things.
And
up.
it doesn't wow you anymore because we have shoes that are 1.5 centimeters taller than that.
Yeah,
but at the time.
That was huge.
It was huge at 40 mil, or 39 mil, so it's interesting. All right, stability, the category that is stability.
So hard to.
So should I attempt?
Speak about?
Yeah, I'll attempt.
Give
So
it a nudge.
stability means that perhaps you have a foot function that you have a predisposition for pronator-related sorenesses or injuries. And we can kind of tie those two things together. The types of footwear that we have, maybe they have slightly firmer medial sides, maybe they have higher sidewalls, maybe they have, and we'll explain it when we look at the shoes, flared midsoles. They might have what we call like a varus wedge. They might have a mountain to roll up. They might have shaped plates. And what that all is designed to do is to guide you towards the medial side a little slower. And what that might do is help you control the movement from the lateral side, so the outside, into the inside the medial side in a way that just gives your body the best possible chance to travel in a straightish line. Like pronation's not the devil. It's not made out to be this horrible thing that people think it is. Like we all have to do some of it, and everyone's amount is really different. And it's even different at speeds. Yeah. Because of force and how hard we're hitting the ground. So it'll be good because we've done 1 and 2 in this category, and we can talk the differences, but conclusive winner.
Yeah.
So
it was way out in front.
Way out. So we'll start with women's again.
Tempest.
Ooh. Saucony Tempest. Now, when you joined Tempest 1 with Tempest 2 sales, it was 4 times the amount
of any other.
Shoe,
I think it was.
Apart from trail.
Yeah.
But yes. So Tempest, Saucony Tempest. Now, these guys fell into this. Because I don't think, and you correct me if you think differently, I don't think they knew what they had.
Nope.
So I remember you and I sat and saw this for the first time.
Yeah.
I think, did we sit out in the mall? Maybe.
Yep. Yeah.
And this was at a time where brands were moving away from dual density. So dual density means 2 different densities of foam. In this particular case, actually 2 different types of raw materials as well. So you've got a PIBA and an EVA. So PIBA being the bouncy kind of fun foam, EVA being the traditional sort of blockier foam. And I remember thinking, thank goodness, we have something.
Someone skipped it.
But I think the brief for this one was make a stable endorphin speed.
Yeah.
But kind of what became of that is actually it's so good that people can do
everything in it,
their general mileage, and Tempest was born.
Yeah, and I think it kind of reimagined how like especially Saucony, but other brands should possibly look at stability. Like we've seen it over the last 2 years, I would say, but brands have slowly gone away from the medial post. So just having that firmer piece on the medial side, instead of trying to stop a movement or stop that pronation, it's more about just slowing it down or controlling it, which the Tempest does a great job of, and clearly the best job of. But they're kind of the first brand, I would say, to incorporate the cradle system, like around the back and the lateral side and the medial side. So they do that. I mean, you probably know or talk about it better than I do, but it's designed to kind of cradle your foot as you hit the ground and guide it through the middle.
Yeah. So I think what was really interesting about this was kind of the first time we saw not only dual density but dual material.
Yeah.
And we know proprioceptively that the foot responds to different densities and different foams, different compliances, different resiliences really differently. So by mixing the two together, and I don't know if they intended this.
No.
Because
I don't think they did.
like, and you always,
jackpot.
you always want to give someone the benefit of the doubt. You want to say like, okay, you thought of that, that's smart, that's clever. But when it was pitched to us, it wasn't pitched like that.
No.
So what they've got is this EVA cradle, so your foot feels held and secure and safe. Firmer sort of piece. And like Shoes tried it before it, right? Like we know Arahi gave it a go. Yeah. But because they just had EVA in two different densities wrapped around, it kind of ended up being a bit slappy. So by having the PIBA, the fun foam, in the heel for cushioning, and you sunk down into that, which landed you nicely into the cradle, and then as your natural body weight shifted over your calcaneus subtalar joint, then you hit the soft foam and you sunk down into that as a cradle, and then everything, I guess, as the PIBA absorbs your energy into the forefoot and you spread it apart, and then elasticizes, comes back and springs you off the front. Yeah. So less
with a little bit of toe roll as well. With
a little bit of toe roll. So, and it's not super stiff, to be fair.
No.
It was a bit of a revelation, I think, and it goes to show that we shouldn't throw the sink out with the bathwater, or the bathwater out the sink, or whatever the hell the analogy is. Like, we can still have dual density shoes, stability shoes.
Yeah.
But can we reimagine the use of materials to make that consumer have a happy time, or a happier time than running in stiff, blocky, traditional kind of 2x4 type. Yeah.
Which there's none of now, apart from the 4000.
Yeah. So and it definitely serves a place. So Tempest took out men's and women's stability category by a landslide.
Yeah.
And we have our favorites, right? But the customer chooses.
Yeah.
So which one feels good? This feels amazing.
Yeah.
And for me, the compliment is when they come back for another pair.
Yeah.
And another pair. Like Andy and I are running this morning down Rapaki, and he goes, "Oh, is the new Tempest stock?" And I said, "Not quite." So I've had 16 pairs.
Yeah.
Like over the last 3 years.
It's a shoe that keeps the majority of people healthy, I think.
Yeah.
And people end up being scared to go away from it because they know it works so well. And we're finding that at the moment with the
waiting for stock.
With the stock being a bit slow. We've got a lot of people waiting for them, so apologies on that. We can't control it. But yeah, great shoe from Scone. And then they actually take out the...
Oh, should we do the second? You're rushing me.
Oh, Sorry, second place.
So for this category, we thought because the Tempest can also fall into the kind of stability trainer racer category as well.
Yeah.
A little bit, we thought we'd do the second place, which is like the traditional stability type shoe. So for the women's, the Asics 2000 series 12 and 13, because we had a mix of both of those this year. Clear winner there, or clear second. That shoe operates on some of the principles of Tempest now. Just single density, uses cutouts in the heel. You can't see them, hexagon shape. So when you load up one side, it's like a little mountain to roll up. And then it has a nice shape under the arch, under the medial arch. And as you roll up there, it kind of catches you. So we call that the tooling. And then a slightly more flexible forefoot than the Kayano, which I think for our customers who traditionally are pretty good runners, they like that forefoot flexibility.
Works well.
It works well. And then for the men's, it was the Brooks Adrenaline, which I was surprised by. You double took too at that.
Yeah. I mean, it does make sense though, I think, because the Brooks have been around for so long.
Yeah.
And it's always been a solid stability shoe.
Yeah.
And I think it kind of falls into that category of the Tempest in terms of people wanting to just come back to it because they know it works.
Yes.
And a little bit afraid. And we have seen some people go from the Adrenaline to the Tempest and find it not too bad. Just a little bit more of a fun, bouncier shoe.
And Tempest is a bit unique, isn't it? Because it has the 12mm pitch.
The
Adrenaline is a bit unique because it has the 12mm pitch, slightly firmer foam. Guide rails like the kind of Hoka idea.
Yeah. So that was good.
Yeah.
interesting second places, I think. I was not surprised by first place, but the second places.
I was surprised by adrenaline, and I think it's probably a nuance to we still need that category.
Yeah.
Like we can't just say everyone can run around a super blast forever.
Yeah.
Like it's just
and
doesn't
not
work.
everyone can run in Tempest.
True.
We've seen that.
Yeah, 100%.
Like it doesn't work for everyone. So you do need those other.
Did you have stats on Tempest real quick?
Yes. So 8 mil drop, 33.25. So it's not a crazy stacked shoe. And I think you do feel the difference between that and the Triumph, which is the neutral version.
Yep.
Just that little bit more cushion in the Triumph. But 269 grams.
Mm-hmm.
So
about the same as Clifton.
Same as Clifton, yeah. And yeah, just the same. So it's got the Power Run PB and the 4 foot, which is their PB foam, and then the supercritical EVA.
Yep.
Guide rails or guidance system. But yeah, I think it's nice they know the outsole works, so they kept that the same. Changed the upper, which some people have had a few issues with, just being a little bit narrower.
It's almost like the upper's thicker.
Yeah.
So it's probably the same last, but the upper just takes up more space.
Yeah. So some rubbing spots here and there, but no, I think if they can keep that shoe the way it is, it'll be lovely. Thanks, Agoni.
Don't mess with it.
Yeah, don't mess with it.
Should we do Trainer Racer?
Trainer Racer, yeah.
Do Trainer Racer.
Yeah.
So I'll preface this by saying that when we talk about foams, traditionally EVA, so ethanol vinyl acetate, has been the primary cushioning that we've had since the birth of Jesus.
Literally.
Jesus. We've got some old shoes there from Miro kind of that we're going to bless you guys with at some point. And then Nike really kicked off the PIBA, which is a polyether blockimide. And the difference between the two is the PIBA is far more elastic and it has more energy return, less flex fatigue, or excellent flex fatigue. So it'll continue to come back to the way it was and bounce you back. So the energy return is way better. So when we talk about this trainer racer category, what we're kind of talking about is category of shoe that either that takes principles from the pure racing category and principles from the racing and training categories, and then tries to merge them into a package that allows you to do sort of like 80% of both. Yeah. So some people will find the trainer racer category actually more efficient for, say, 3.5 to 5 hour marathon. It's not as aggressive. You can manipulate the shoe a little bit more, but it still offers you that energy return. And then people who are trying to use a racing shoe, it's a great shoe to do the training and to get them used to that before they jump the step up.
Yeah.
Traditionally, or I say traditionally, at the moment, they use probably the same midsole materials as their racing counterparts, but with a more flexible plate.
Yeah.
So they might be composite carbon, they might be fiberglass, they might be nylon in its plastic form, and other numerous PBX plastic form, by which you get a snap back and it's easier to load, so you don't have to drive power into it, making it more efficient at slower speeds.
Yeah.
Is that pretty fair?
Yeah, and it doesn't, like, people find it a lot more accommodating for the slower paces because it's not as stiff.
Yeah.
And that stiffness can sometimes aggravate certain areas.
So the cell structures of the foams are denser, they're a little heavier, it makes them more durable.
Yeah.
And you can kind of see that when you pick them up. So you're going to get a little more life out of them. So that's what that is. Now, who took out Trainer Racer men's and women's was the same again.
Yeah.
Super interesting, actually. I had a feeling that maybe Puma might have got onto the women's podium there, but that's okay. So
I think because it was so late to the piece.
Gotcha.
That, like, I'll talk to that later in the pod, but yeah, Puma came in late to the party, I think.
Yes.
Well, at least in our store. So they didn't really have a fair chance.
Yeah.
I think we might see it a little bit different next year, but yeah.
So,
but yeah, they had, correct me if I'm wrong, this is beaded PIBA though.
Yeah, so what we're talking about is the Saucony Endorphin Speed 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's you can see it when you pick up the shoe and look at the shoe. It looks like polystyrene. So the PIBA is actually compressed into little balls.
Yep.
And then blended together, which I think makes it last a little bit longer.
Yeah, so what they do is they make strings of this raw material.
Yeah.
And then they kind of ended up in like you said, a polystyrene ball. Then they use a resin glue to bring it all together, which gives the cell walls another resilience factor. Yeah. So you get a longer life out of the raw materials.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a great shoe. 8mm, 36, 28. A little bit lighter. So again, that's just what a trainer racer is meant to be. A slightly lighter shoe than your daily trainer. It's 230 ounces. 230 ounces. So not quite as light as some of the racing shoes, but yeah, still has very similar technology to the Tempest with the slightly more rocker feel. A little bit higher rebound, but it is a little bit denser, so it's going to last a little bit longer.
So
than your racing.
A couple of things I really liked about it was the ladder constructed outsole.
Yeah.
Really good on all surfaces.
Yeah.
Like if you need to do a little bit of gravel, run on the road, want to run hard up a hill, you could do kind of not like a slippery hill, but like a gravel base.
Yeah.
You could do that. The nylon plate is winged medially and laterally. They've actually convexed the nylon plate under the arch. So when you push down on it, it resists a little bit of that and then kind of springs you back. So gives you some like extra stability features without a stability feature. And then the nylon plate is quite flexible, but does spring back when it's fully loaded. Yeah. So you get, and we'll get to our favorite shoes later, but this particular shoe was something I did a lot of my marathon prep in when I was doing my harder sort of hour 45, 2.5 hour type zone 2 runs. And it just worked perfectly for that. It felt really comfortable, almost at marathon pace, all the way back to sort of recovery jogging pace. I know a few other guys have enjoyed wearing that. So that took out
trainer races.
I also like the fact it was $300.
Yeah,
like be careful what I say here because some people might feel like that's a lot of money, but I feel like
it's a big selling point.
Yeah, I feel like that's a really advantageous price point to be in for all of those features.
Yeah,
it is going to go to 310 for Endorphin Speed 5, which we will see.
You get a lot of shoe for
early next year.
$300.
I can't remember. I remember seeing it.
Yeah,
Endorphin Speed 5.
It's nice.
Oh, it's pretty good. Nice. Oh, actually, the Pro 5. Did I send you that? We're going to talk about it.
Yeah, we can't
talk about it. The Pro 5's
exciting.
And then Super Trainer. So this is a messy category.
This is Oscar's favorite category.
You winding me up. So Super Trainer for me, and I don't really care what anyone else thinks. This is what I'm going to say it is. So Super Trainer uses a brand's latest technology in foams with the latest thinking in human economy movements.
Yeah.
In an amount of material that is over the legal limit from World Athletics being 40 mil. So, there's that.
It's a hard one to categorize.
It's a hard one to categorize, but I think it needs to be like an unbelievable formed EVA.
Yeah, like
Mizuno kind of did with their Neo Vista. Or it has to be a PIBA or an aliphatic TPU.
Yep.
So it has to be, let's just say, minimal energy return has to be 80%.
Yeah.
Like, let's just, I don't care, but just throw a number at it.
Yep.
And it's overstacked.
Yep.
So it's not legal under World Athletics if you were racing something. And it's made to try and protect you and be cushioned and have a race day like feel and an oversized package to the trainer races. Is that fair? Is that?
I would say so. Yeah. I mean, the way I see it is it's I don't know. It's a shoe that falls into too many categories.
This particular shoe.
Yeah, this particular one. So the winner actually was Asics Super Blast, which we're not too surprised about.
Oh no, kick the ass out of everyone else.
Yeah. And it has their Flight Foam Turbo Plus, which is the same foam they use in their Meta Speeds. So it's a super responsive foam without the plate.
And it's got the Blast Plus
on the bottom.
On the bottom.
Which is a little bit denser and more durable. Pretty good tread covering in this one compared to the first one, which is a lot nicer. And I think the upper is nicer once you wear it in.
Yes.
because it's quite firm at first and doesn't really move a whole lot. But once you've put a few Ks in it, it's not too bad. But yeah, I don't know. I think this shoe, you see it on people's feet a lot because they want that feel from the racing shoe, but they want to use it all the time. And for me personally, like I would use this shoe when spent.
Yes.
Or like just want some more energy back on a run. I'm feeling tired from training. Or just out for like a faster long run or something like that, where I just don't want my legs to get as beat up. But yeah, you're right. It kind of it twinkle toes around.
It's weird because if it never existed, nobody would miss it.
No, exactly.
Like if it never came about, it would be fine. But it does, and it's here, and it's fine.
Yeah, and people love it.
And if it gives you the opportunity to do some more training or some different training, but I think it's important that how we categorize, just like New Balance Supercomp Trainer, ASICS Super Blast, maybe the Mad Max, like the Glycerin Max, like those shoes that are just like 45 mil, 50 mil of soft stuff. But to me, it's weird because they all feel hard. There's too much foam for me, but
it is an interesting category.
Yeah, so that's what that is. So anyway, Super Blast features. What are the stats?
It is hold fire. It is 250 grams, so kind of same weight as a normal trainer. Yeah. Which is interesting because it kind of again reiterates what we've just been saying. Like it just sits in other people's categories, basically. Like it sits in.
What will be? Oh, sorry, I'm gonna digress slightly. It'd be interesting because there's no doubt that as technology evolves, the way we manufacture product evolves, that the technology that's say in a Super Blast is going to come down into other shoes from other companies. So, do we always have a super trainer category? Like,
don't know.
Or are we just going to see a blend? And then have we just titled it Super Trainer because of the materials and the price points? Does it just give you an opportunity to charge $400 for something that's actually worth $320? Like,
yeah, sure.
Like, I'm just like hypothesizing because you could still say that the Endorphin Speed 4 was a kind of a super trainer because it's a trainer with superpowers as opposed to a.
Well, that's the thing. Like the line between the super trainer and the trainer racer is so.
But there's no way in hell I'd race in a Super Blast.
No. I think you need the. Well, I mean, the only thing really that differentiates the two is the plate.
Yeah.
Right.
But some of them have, like the Super Comp from New Balance has a plate.
Yeah.
So it gets messy.
So does that sit in the trainer racer?
Well, I think it does because you got 45 mil of pepper.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's a tricky one.
So you got a centimetre more than the Endorphin Speed 4.
Yeah.
With even though they're constructed differently.
There's actually no stack.
I think it's 45.
I think it is 45.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's an 8 mil drop, so pretty standard.
45-37.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah. Crazy. So, tricky one.
My favourite category.
But the next one's not so tricky.
Trail.
Yeah.
Now, we could have broken this down like a million categories.
Yeah, you could have actually.
Because you could have had like
minimal cushion, max cushion, normal. No, let's not go.
But we've just decided that we'd just do first and second.
Yeah.
And what's interesting about second is you could probably break that away from first because second is a daughter trail.
Yeah.
And so we can kind of
hybrid.
We can differentiate those two. The winner or the most sold peerage in the store for trail was ASICS Tribuco by a landslide.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like nothing sexy, but
it just works.
It's everything you want.
Oh, well, to be fair, 2 years ago, they would not have been number one.
Nah, far out.
It would be number one on returns.
Oh, because version 9 and 10, man. The 9 and 10?
Yep.
They were just
the upper.
Awful.
It was ridiculous.
But I will say that we had minimal problems if people use them where we suggest.
Yeah, yeah.
If you start kayaking in them, we've got a problem.
Yeah, yeah. Use them what they're made for.
Yeah. So ASICS Tribuco is a classic, quintessential. So this is funny. Normality.
Yeah.
There's nothing normal
about those
on the roadside. So adequate amounts of cushioning, great coverage of rubber, and I like this outsole pattern. it pretty much works on anything natural surface wise. Forefoot flexibility is really good.
Yep.
And you have the same internal hexagon cutouts from the lateral to medial side as the 2000 and the K, or not the same, but the same idea.
Yeah.
And you'll notice some people who are watching on YouTube, you'll see that the lateral side is lower than the medial side, so that gives you that little mountain or varus to roll up. So it does act as a slight stability option.
Yeah.
For
and good cutouts.
Trail. Good cutouts. Yeah, good tooling.
They should make that a road shoe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's not go there.
Let's not go there. 8 mil pitch.
Yeah.
8 mil pitch.
Yeah.
I just wish they'd make a wide.
Yeah.
I wish they had the 2 widths back.
It is a generous fitting standard width. I feel in the forefoot, but midfoot
Yes.
is kind of normal. So
Yes.
kind of again, trickles between the two.
So if you're someone that likes to drive to the trail and then run on the trail, you like a little bit of stability, some ground feel, slightly firmer foam, good grip, reliable. Then it's like nothing fancy, but I feel like for the trail, unless you're doing an event and you have a specific kind of thing, you want just the most reliable thing you can. And like we said, the last 2 versions, 11 and 12, we haven't had the same problems with the upper that we had. And then Hoka back on top.
ACR.
Challenger ATR 7. Now this one's what we call a hybrid shoe. So hybrid being that the rubber. Sorry, I'm going to need a drink. You can fill the dead space if you want to. You take over.
Yeah, so it kind of, it obviously fits in the trail category, but the rubber allows it to fit into the road category as well.
The outsole rubber.
Outsole rubber.
Yep.
Yeah. And specifics on that, I'm not 100% sure why it does that.
Oh, yep. So basically what happens is the road shoes in the high pressure areas have what we call like a carbonized rubber.
Yeah.
So they use a carbon filler into the basically big mixing bowl. Rubber goes in, not rubber, synthetic rubber, and then use a carbon. Now, what the carbon filler does is it means that you don't grate it out so quick. It makes it incredibly durable. Yeah. The downside to the carbonized rubber is it's not flexible at all, so it makes it super slippy.
Yeah.
So this is why we call it's a daughter trail. So it's a carbonized rubber or slightly stronger rubber, more durable rubber cut into an outsole pattern.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if we had a daughter trail category, that would have taken it out.
Yeah. So that's kind of why we cover both. Same geometry as the Clifton.
Yeah.
Firmer upper, slightly less volume, just because it wants to hug you down on top a little bit more for those off-road.
And some people that find they don't get as many Ks out of the Clifton as they would like end up going into that.
Yep.
And that's kind of where we'd guide them as well, because it is essentially a more durable Clifton.
Particularly if you're on that gravel surface and it's dusty.
However, you will still lose your tread quickly if you do run on the road. Just on the road.
Just on the road,
but that's just how it is.
The price you pay for being cheap.
Yeah.
So the category we're most excited about.
Yeah.
Category we're most excited about.
Racing shoes.
Racing shoes. I have often been quoted that if I could just have a shipping container full of racing shoes to sell, I'd be a happy man.
I'd probably do it right.
Probably go okay. But I wouldn't have any staff and Tom and I probably wouldn't be sitting here. So, start with women's.
Yeah.
This is interesting. And I think we can talk about this because lo and behold, most women and most men move a little differently.
Yeah. Interesting.
Interestingly enough, I don't want to get caught in a great debate here, but we see, particularly at a racing level, we see, I guess, a difference in what people like. So the ladies was the Saucony Endorphin Pro 4.
Yeah. Which is a great shoe.
So this was your first love.
Yes.
The Pro one.
The original
one.
Pro one, yeah.
And then did it get a bit soft for you?
Yes, it did indeed.
So,
and I think that comes to the difference as well between the male and female winners.
Yep.
I don't know, I can't really talk about genetic makeups, but the way the females run and males run and how we land and where we land on the shoe.
And weight and all that sort of stuff.
Weight. I was heading there. The weight, I think it is a huge weight thing with these two shoes because the Pro is a lot softer in the forefoot, and for the heavier person, you put too much pressure into it. It doesn't feel super responsive.
Gotcha.
I think that's what I found with it.
Yep.
I never raced in it or trained in it, but I did take it for a few strides outside, and I just felt like it wasn't giving me as much back as the Elite. But then obviously, yeah, we'll get to the Elite in a bit, but uses the dual density foam.
Yeah, so it's got the HG, which is the high grade PEBA, Power Run PB, which is the same as what's in the Endorphin Speed.
Yep.
And it has the scooped carbon plate.
Yeah.
I was dubious about the sock upper, but I actually quite like it. Interestingly enough, for my marathon prep, I went with this option because I found it a little less aggressive on my body as I was kind of doing longer tempos than the Elite or other options as well. So I did like how that kind of came about.
It's a comfortable racing shoe.
Yeah.
Which I think is super important in a racing shoe.
Yes.
It's often neglected because people come in and go, I want the fastest shoe. Give me the fastest shoe on the shelf.
I don't even know
I'll
what it
take it.
means anymore.
But we have no idea what it means anymore. And I often lean towards some of the most comfortable fast shoe.
Yeah.
Because they're all so similar these days.
Yes. So I think it's a really nice option. Saucony did a great job. I'm just going to call it the jack of all trades.
Yeah.
You could go 5K to a 50K.
Yeah.
And it would be fine.
Yeah.
It would work really well. And I don't think there's many shoes that in this category could do all of those things.
Yeah.
There's one other I can think of kind of that would come close.
Yeah.
I think it'd be almost too mushy to run a mile all out. But like if you were wanting to run a park run under 20 minutes, if you were trying to run a marathon under 3 hours, that'd be great. It'd work really well. It'd be pretty good. And then for the men's,
the Saucony Endorphin Elite.
how many categories did Saucony win? 3.
3, 4, 4.
3.
If you include men's and women's. But 3.
Yeah, 3.
Yeah.
So
I think one of the favorite shoes over the last few years.
100%.
Yeah.
I think HG PEBA foam, so the high grade PEBA foam, super resilient.
Yeah.
You don't have to press it much to get much back.
Yeah.
And if you're watching on YouTube, it's got a really aggressive toe spring.
Yeah.
Which Tommy found out can be really good or really bad. What I'll say is, for a half marathon, unreal for me.
Yeah.
Because I can keep up with it for an hour.
Yeah.
So when I ran 64:02 and when I ran in 64:32, I was in this and I wore this for World Champs last year.
It has a sweet spot.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
But when I get it to 90 minutes, I can no longer keep up with a rock.
Yeah.
And I think it's just a me problem because some people do, they love it. But
yeah. Well, it's like I found out on the weekend, you have to land where it wants you to land. Otherwise, it doesn't allow you to feel good in it, essentially. Or it's not. So you don't necessarily, I think this kind of plays a part too. You don't necessarily have to run at a certain speed in it. As long as your foot gate allows for you to land in that front half of the shoe, you'll be fine.
Yep.
But if you're landing further back in the shoe,
or really laterally,
laterally, it doesn't, because it's so fast, it doesn't allow you to move the way you want, and that just causes hot spots. And my feet were on fire. Yeah. But also had only done 2 runs in it, so that's probably my own fault.
You drive me nuts. So this was a clear winner.
Yeah. Miles out in front.
Miles out in front. So which I find quite interesting.
Yeah.
Couple of key features. It does have little sidewalls, particularly around the heel. So you do sit down in it like a little bucket seat. I like what they've done with the extra strap across the midfoot, medially and laterally, so you get a really good lockdown for the lacquer material that's there. They need that because the back of this is so flimsy. There's no heel counter. Like it's got a little piece of...
Which is surprising though, because it works.
It does work.
You don't ever feel like you're going to slip out of it.
No, the first time I wore it, I
thought
I might, then, but I think it was just the sensation of the little bobble piece that they've got here that was like,
nothing there.
And I love the fit across the forefoot.
Yeah,
like it really worked for a lot of people.
Yeah,
and the net base is pretty good, so stability wise, it worked quite well.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the most stable racing shoes on the market. Yeah, which I think works. What makes it work for a lot of people, because often brands seem to narrow out their racing shoes a little bit too much for some people. And then you're just falling off the sides. But stats on that one is 8 mil drop, 39.5 and 31.5. And 200, actually, that is the wrong shoe.
It's the same though. Still
Yeah, so that was the Pro. Yeah, it's the same. And it is about 205 grams from memory.
Yes.
So again, pretty light. Not the lightest one on the market, but it feels light.
It
feels
does.
very light.
And I think because you run on top of it,
Yeah.
you don't run down into it.
Yeah, you don't sink. So yeah, it doesn't sink in or anything.
Which is why I think I really liked it for that half marathon.
Yeah.
But as soon as I had lots of ground contact time and
Yeah.
I was having a horrible day.
It's got a sweet spot. It's got a sweet spot for sure. But yeah, so that is the customers' picks for 2024. Some interesting results, but some not so surprising results as well.
Yeah.
I think. So yeah, should we get on to our?
Oh yeah, here we go. How do you want to do this? Same.
I think we go down the categories, just one by one.
So what I'm going to struggle with here is
same time.
Okay, same time, and then we have to explain why.
Yeah.
What I'm going to struggle with this is I can't quite remember
Yeah.
some of the denominations when they came out.
Yeah. Neither. Yeah.
So don't add us on YouTube
We've got in the store right now.
And what I trained in early in the year.
Yeah. Slightly different.
I'm also going to throw at you. We should do a value.
Yeah. Okay.
A value one at the end.
Yep.
So we'll do like a best value in the training category.
Yeah.
In the training category. So also just remember, guys, that Tom and I both have pretty neutral foot types.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I get a little bit tired, I like to have a wee
Some
bit of
support.
stability. So
Yeah.
I don't mind the Tempest for that.
Yeah.
But 9 times out of 10, I'm wearing a cushion neutral. So, all right. So everyday trainer. I don't know what you're going to say here. Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Tempest.
Triumph 21.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair.
But I don't know if that came out in December or January.
That's why I didn't say it.
Yeah.
So if we're claiming from in the last 14 months,
well, we'll stretch it.
we'll stretch it a little bit. Yeah, Triumph 21. I would say that is my favorite one as well.
Yeah.
Just all round great shoe. Had no qualms with it at all, aside from the lockdown fit was a little bit loose sometimes.
I did find the upper stretched
Yeah.
quicker than the shoe wore out.
Yeah. The shoe was a workhorse. I think we both put over 1,500K in it.
Oh.
And the tread fell off before the foam died.
100%. I'm going to get some stats here. Hold on. I'm going to get some stats. So bear with me, listeners. Tommy, you can fill the gap with some nonsense if you want to. I'm going to get some stats.
Perfectly shaped shoe. The last was, I found, really good for a lot of people, especially my foot. Having a little bit wider forefoot allowed for a good foot splay. It had 10 mil pitch, which I found really nice because it did put you in the sweet spot, I think, better than most shoes in that category. And then obviously having all that Power Run HD foam. Oh no, Power Run PB foam. Sorry.
Yeah, but it was a denser.
It was a denser version.
It was a small.
It was a little bit heavier, but I didn't mind it because it tipped you off the front a little bit quicker than much quicker than the current Triumph. But it just lasted forever. And it was super comfortable.
Okay, I got my stats.
Yeah.
You did well there to fill that space.
Very
well to fill that space.
Hit me with the stats.
Okay, so the stats is I'm going to run just over 7,000 kilometers this year.
Yep.
Yeah, I ran nearly 5,000 of those
In the Triumph.
in the Triumph 21.
Holy heck. Yeah. I think I had at least 10 pairs of it.
Yeah.
I religiously ran in it.
So I love that shoe. If I was going to have to pick one that I knew came this year, it would be Magnify Tech 2.
Yes.
So from Puma, the Puma. So the only reason I put the Triumph over the Puma was I just like that little bit more softness and responsiveness out of the Triumph. But the Magnify was a pretty close second.
Yeah.
So should we do Trainer Racer?
Trainer Racer. Oh.
No?
Yeah.
No? Or do you want to do?
Yeah. No, let's do it.
Okay. That's going to be pretty obvious, but.
See, mine's not too obvious.
Is it not?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Dolphin Speed 4.
Mark X2.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm surprised by that.
Yeah. No, I really enjoyed it. And that's, okay, so it's a late addition to the
fair.
To the market, I guess, because it only came out a few months ago. And was lucky enough to get gifted a pair. I didn't find the upper that bad.
No, and I'd say it's like 70-30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It did irritate the Achilles a little bit, but it's more of like a rubbing, and whereas like
Yes.
because there's no heel to it, really. I quite like that feeling.
There's no counter, eh?
Yeah,
No counter.
but I will say I did put a heel raise in it to make it feel a bit better. I didn't mind the 5mm pitch, but I liked it more with 10.
10 or 11.
Yeah, because it has the firmer EVA at the back and the really soft PIBA foam in the front. It just kind of tipped you into that front soft foam, and you just bounced along off the front of it. The shape was really good for my foot, which I think was the winner for me.
It's interesting, because when you kind of first started working in the shop, you loved Clifton, Challenger, like you loved what the Hoka was kind of about, and then you almost got bullied into not liking it just because they were supposed, like Clifton was an old man shoe, your dad was running around.
Although I can't say, like, I can't speak on the speed because I've never worn it.
Yeah, gotcha. So for me, it was definitely Endorphin Speed 4. I did all my stuff, all my Zone 2 stuff in it for Gold Coast and Auckland.
Yeah.
I like shoes that have some flexibility in the forefoot.
Yeah.
But I still wanted that kind of snappy ride, the feeling of the PIBA foam, do some work. I'd still choose that over any of the super trainers.
Yeah.
Like to do that kind of stuff in.
Yeah.
And it was just a friend. I put like an 800K in a pair.
Yeah.
This year.
They're getting more and more durable.
It's pretty good.
It's kind of taken away from the trainer.
Yeah, like it's pretty good.
Yeah.
And then I kind of like, because at the time I was wearing the Endorphin Elite, so I liked the balance that was offered there. So where does that land us? Racing shoe.
Racing shoe. Yeah, see, this one I have 2. I still can't pick between them. And you're going to laugh at me because I haven't even worn one of them.
You can't pick it then.
Yeah, no, I think I can.
No, you can't pick it because they're just. I like the idea of it.
Yeah, true.
It's like deciding that the Tinder match. You just like the idea of it.
No, I can't. Okay.
And then you're gonna just propose.
All right, I'll say the one that I've worn.
Okay.
All right.
3, 2, 1. Puma
Meta Speed
DV8
Edge.
Elite. Oh
See, I was going to say the Puma. That was the other one.
no, you just like that because me and
I like the idea of it.
yeah.
I just haven't worn a pair yet.
What races did you do in the Meta Speed Edge? Essex. So we're talking about Essex.
Yeah.
Meta Speed Edge.
I actually
Paris.
only raced a 5K in it.
Oh, yeah.
Parkrun. But worked out in it a bunch.
Yeah. Okay.
And loved it. Just unfortunately had no races at the time, so I didn't get to race in it. But I really liked the improvement Essex made on the previous one, which I think was the one that, because the Endorphin Elite, I feel like had been around for a little bit longer.
Yes.
That's why I put the Meta Speed in that category, because it was the biggest change from the last one.
Yep.
And I do like the way it feels. And I think I said it in my write-up as well. They should just have the Edge because it's the best of both
Make my
worlds.
life so much
Yeah.
easier.
Until we see the next ones, which I haven't seen yet, but
I have.
there might be some differences in those ones. Sounds like they're good.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then I was going to say the Puma as well, just because I think it, although I haven't worn it, from what Oscar said and everyone that's worn it, it's kind of re-engineered the racing shoe a little bit in terms of comfort and a little bit more flexibility, which is probably why you enjoy it.
Yeah, I think like
It allows for a lot more.
Well, there's lots of things to unpack because, like we talked about at the top of the podcast, people's bodies respond differently to different raw materials and the different foams, right? So,
Yeah.
like for me, I find the PIBA. I love the first version of Zoom X that Nike had, and some of that's because that's the first time you ever put anything on like that.
Yeah.
But I find with the PIBA stuff, I feel like I run too far into it.
Yeah.
And I really have to squish it
Yeah.
to feel like I get anything back. Where with the aliphatic TPU, I felt like with the Puma I was in complete control over all speeds.
It does what you want better.
Yeah,
And
and
PIBA, I think.
and it has less heat.
Yeah.
So it doesn't respond as poorly to heat. So, which is interesting because I don't respond well in heat.
Neither, apparently.
What am I trying to say here? So what I wanted, so my rationale, and I'm happy to be proven wrong and I don't really care, but my rationale was I ran 218 in a pair of New Balance 1500s for a marathon, and I could make that shoe do whatever I wanted. In fact, it wasn't even comfortable.
Yeah.
Whereas when I look at the Puma Nitro DV8 Elite 3, I see similarities in the old school racing shoe with foams that are comfortable and giving me 88 to 92% of my energy back. And like for me, the carbon fiber plate is a bonus. So there's no question when I have to go to the big gear, like big gear, when I'm up on my toes and I'm sprinting. Like I ran the last K of Auckland Marathon at 2:55, which is pretty fast for me. Like being a marathon guy.
Especially at the end of a marathon.
But the plate was non-intrusive until I asked something of it. Whereas sometimes I feel like with the Endorphin Elite, and I'm not knocking them, Endorphin Elite, Endorphin Pro, the ASICS Metaspeed stuff.
They asked you to do
They asked too much of me too early at those like easier, so not easy because the marathon's not easy, or 10K, the easier intensities. And so when I wanted the plate to kick in, the plate kicked in. And some of it was also the way the lateral edge, and it's a shame we don't have one sitting here, but the 4 foot lateral edge of the Puma is rounded. We've got one pulled apart. I'm not going to get out of the seat because I'll probably fall over. But the edge is rounded off, which really made toe off feel nice. Because we know that the body finds that path of least resistance. And so when I was going really fast, for me, I could roll right off the front because the plate helped me do it. At the slower speeds, I could roll a little bit off laterally and use different muscle groups and stuff. So so that's why. So what were mine? Triumph 21, Magnify, Speed 4, Endorphin Speed 4, Puma. So that goes to show you do not have to hang out in the same brand.
No, all different brands.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of what's coming next year will change again.
Oh, I'm so excited for Triumph 23, man. I've been running around in a pair of those Saucony Triumph 23s that are half a size too big, and I'm
just rocking with it.
I'm in love. I'm like how many 8.5s can I buy? And how long does the PB last before it disintegrates? Like,
so I guess let's do this backwards. I was keen to see the brand you most anticipated or most anticipation for
next year.
For next year.
This is a hard one.
And then I think it's clear to say that Saucony was the winner of this year's brand, just from the customer results, and then also the most improved brand. Okay, so we can say that at the same time. We'll
just go one. So you go. So we were agreeing that as a collection, Saucony came out on top for runners. Tempest. Endorphin, and Pro and Elite.
I think the brand that is the most improved, I don't know if you agree, would be Puma.
Yeah, I agree.
If you look at it over the track record over the last 5 years, let's say, they've come out with the biggest changes and good improvements over the last year.
I would say simple design with complex materials.
And good pricing.
I think they
nailed all three in that category. So, put it this way. I don't think I would have sold a Puma 3 years ago.
No way.
There was not. Or we might not have even had them. No. If we had them, they were sitting on the shelf. Whereas now, they're one of the biggest sellers in the store. And credit to them. They're putting a lot of time and effort into their runners, and it's showing. Anticipation for next year.
This is a hard one.
This is a really hard one.
Mine's a mix of...
I have a few.
Mine almost falls into shoes rather than brands. But I would say I'm excited to see... It's hard because I've seen them all. But I'm excited for you guys listening to see Puma and Saucony.
Interesting.
I would say.
So you've... okay. That's your two. I like both of those as well. I'll preference that. But I'll say Adidas and On.
I hadn't even thought about Adidas.
Adidas and On.
Sorry, Megan.
I actually, when I was up in Auckland, I had a sneak peek at some of the stuff you guys saw. and it was really nice. They have. I still don't know that they've nailed their trainers yet.
Yeah.
But their in between shoes and their racing shoes coming along. I think especially their in between shoes. Won't say what it is, but it's coming soon.
Yeah. You're talking Adidas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then on, I think their racing shoes seem to be
Yeah, I felt like with
clipping at the heels of.
not even clipping. I think
At the top,
eclipsing. Yeah,
Yeah.
I really feel like their trainer, their super trainer.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of it.
Oh, the Strike or the
Yes.
99. Yeah.
Yeah, the Strike, which was basically a New Balance Super Comp
Yeah.
trainer. That probably will be the best one in the category.
Yeah.
The hard part for us will be supply.
I think
Is like
Strike. I might have got that wrong.
getting enough of it. I thought that was exceptional, and from an aesthetic, a geometry, a material, and a sense, like the brief is correct. The
Yeah.
execution was good. I'm excited for that. You're right. I hadn't, but it's hard because when I saw the Puma stuff and you see some of the materials that they're starting to use in training shoes in a sensible way, you're like, okay, this is so good for the general
Cloudburn Zone.
zone. Yeah,
what they've
that's
called
it.
it.
Zone.
It's gone from 99 to
Zone.
yeah.
Whatever.
It's Zone.
Zone. Who comes up with? Oh, because it was 99 just the name they.
99 was the name they had when it was a prototype because
Yes.
they preference like it's designed to do 99% of the work.
Yeah.
But then they called it the Zone. I don't
Because
know
you're
why
in the
they've
zone.
gone with that
You're in
one.
the zone.
Yeah.
So I like
Covers
that.
all zones.
I like that.
Asics have a very exciting racing flat though.
They do. But again, is it going to be gate kept?
Yeah.
Like,
That's the trouble. Most people won't be able
no,
to use it or see it.
no.
So
But we are
think
going to
that's why
get
it's-
some of the Adidas,
yeah.
the Evo. We are going to get some of the SL.
Yeah.
Evo SL. We are going to get some of the Boston 13.
Yeah.
If we just purely looked at increase of buy,
Yeah.
like in terms of what I pre-ordered,
Yeah.
Adidas is the most increased,
Yeah. Yeah.
Like-
So
for sure,
possibly the most anticipated brand for next year.
for some key things. I'd say
Yeah.
I'm most looking forward to the Puma training shoes.
Yeah.
Apart from the Saucony Triumph.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to the Speed 5 and Pro 5
Yeah.
from them.
Yeah.
I'm not looking forward to the Endorphin Elite 2.
Yeah, that's probably the
I
most
wanna be
unanticipated shoe.
I'm going to be proved wrong. I'm looking forward to, you're right, Adidas's gateway shoes
Yeah.
into the racing
trainer
products.
races.
Yeah, the trainer races.
Yeah.
And then I'm excited to see how on progress. I think they've nailed midsoles already. They just got to get the uppers right.
Yeah, I was going to say, like in terms of Piba foam, that might be the best Piba foam on the market right now.
Oh, maybe if you say that out loud.
Just in terms of what you were talking about before and like not sinking into it too much, I think they nailed the density on that, like the durometer. But yeah, we're yet to see it on the shelf yet. So it is coming soon. I think the Strike and then the
Well,
Zone.
what I'm hoping is that Strike will make up for the people who can't wear the new Elite 2.
Yeah. No, I think I agree.
It'll be a pretty good.
Yeah.
It's just for me, the upper was a little bit sale material, and you really got to pack that thing out to.
Yeah. And it fits differently, so we'll get to that when it arrives.
Yeah,
It definitely fits differently.
that's a whole YouTube clip that
Yeah.
Mac and I will put together. So yeah, that's shoe. That is shoes. We managed to talk about shoes for an hour and 10 minutes.
pretty good.
Holy! We were like, this is gonna be a long
Yeah, we
one.
could talk longer.
This is gonna be a long one.
So if you enjoy shoes, listen to this podcast.
yeah, over and over again. I don't
Yeah.
think many people are making the whole way through this.
Maybe. They might skip to their favorite parts.
Yeah, true.
Who
Fair
knows?
enough. Well, if you're still listening, we appreciate you. We hope you have a great Christmas, because this will come out. Time travel will come out just before Christmas.
Yeah.
Appreciate your support. Thanks for listening. You got anything to add, Tommy?
No. I think credit to the brands. I feel like they're listening a little bit to more of us smaller guys in the fields, and we've seen a few changes that obviously weren't directly from us, but they're changes that we've liked to see. And yeah, keep them running fun and interesting for 2024 and 2025. So it's good stuff.
Love shoes.
We
Love
get
fun.
excited about shoes, so hopefully you guys too.
I kind
too.
of get excited about feet as well.
I do not.
The little foot fetish.